Ieri abbiamo riflettuto su Maria de Magdala come
Yesterday we reflected on Mary Magdalene as the icon of fidelity,
fedeltà a Dio.
fidelity to God.
Ma com'è questa fedeltà a Dio? A quale Dio?
But what is this fidelity to God? To what God? Specifically to the God who is faithful.
Non è un'altra cosa
Our fidelity is
che una
nothing
risposta
other than a
alla
response
fedeltà di Dio.
to God's faithfulness.
Dio che è fedele alla
God
sua parola,
who is faithful to His
che è
word,
fedele
who is faithful
alla sua promessa,
to His promise,
che cammina
who walks with His people,
portando avanti la promessa, vicino al suo
bringing the promise
popolo, fedele alla promessa.
continually forward with His people, faithful to the
Dio
promise.
Che
God,
continuamente si fa sentire
who
come
continually allows Himself,
Salvatore, perché è
reveals
fedele.
Himself as a Savior to His people because He's faithful
Dio
to His
che è
promise.
capace di
God who is
rifare le cose, di
able to
ricreare.
remake, to recreate things
Ha fatto
as He did
con questo storpio
with this
la nascita,
paralyzed man from birth, a crippled man from birth, who recreated his feet
il Dio che guarisce,
and healed him, a God who heals,
porta
a God who
una
always
consolazione al
brings
suo popolo.
comfort, consolation to His people.
Il Dio che ricrea,
God who recreates,
una ricreazione nuova. Questa è la
a
sua
recreation that's new. This is His faithfulness to us, a recreation that is more wonderful, more marvelous than creation, a God who always goes forward,
di lavorare,
who never tires Himself of working
come dicono i teologi, per portare avanti il popolo.
in order to bring His people forward.
Non ha paura di stancarsi.
He's not afraid of getting tired, let's put it that way. As a shepherd who, when he goes back home,
Una pecora.
realizes that a sheep is missing, and he goes back
Cercare la pecora
in
che
order
si è
to
perduta lì.
seek the sheep that got lost there.
Pastore che fa
A shepherd
straordinarie.
who does the extraordinary for love out of fidelity, and our God does these extraordinary things, but not to receive a payment. He does it gratuitously.
E la fedeltà di quel padre
It's the faithfulness of a father that is able to go up onto the terrace many, many times in order to look to see if his son is coming back.
non si stanca di salire.
And he doesn't get tired of going up there.
Fare festa.
He waits in order to throw a feast. The fidelity of God is this feast. It's joy. It's such a joy that it makes us do what this crippled man did. He's jumping and walking and praising God. God's faithfulness is a feast. It's a feast for all of us. God's faithfulness is a patient faithfulness. He has patience with His people. He waits. He listens to them. He guides them. He explains things to them slowly. And He rekindles their hearts, as He does with these two disciples who were distancing themselves far away from Jerusalem. He makes their hearts burn that they might return to home. God's faithfulness is that we don't know what happened in that dialogue, but He's a generous God who sought after Peter, who denied Him. We know that the Lord is risen, and He appeared to Simon. We don't know what He said to Simon in that dialogue, but we know that it was God's fidelity that went in search of Simon. God's fidelity always precedes us, and our fidelity is always a response to that fidelity that precedes us. It's God who always precedes us. It's the flower of the almond in spring. That's the one that flowers first. He's faithful. No, to be faithful is to praise this fidelity. It's a response to that faithfulness.